So this series ought to be an interesting discussion. Let's talk about archetypes. So archetypes are made most famous by Carl Jung. And if you study magic, then I suggest you really look into Jung if you haven't already. And on this channel, we do take more of a psycho-magical perspective, really playing into psychology and how that relates to magic and how psychology can be used as a vehicle to access magic itself. So I got some notes and we're going to be going over that for this first part of the video. For some reason, my little backdrop thing with the TV was not working for the past 10 minutes. So I said, screw it, and I decided to just go with it. So pretend it's got my title thing up there. Visualize it. Yeah. So Jung described archetypes as patterns and images that come from the collective unconscious that all members of the species, of a particular species, share. So, all Homo sapiens have a collective unconscious. All cats, all monkeys, you get the point, right? And it's where a lot of our commonly shared things come from, such as common stories, myths, behaviors, things like that. So it's used to explain universal themes like fear of the dark or fear of heights. The common plot sequence in legends and stories, also known as like the hero's journey, hero's quest stuff, the universal existence of certain individuals with certain characteristics, and even legends among cultures. Because there's always like the magician, the hero, the villain, right? The mother, the maiden, all of these things. Jung had like hundreds of archetypes that he mapped out. So every character you've ever read about, seen in a play, or seen on TV, or in a movie, or in a book, represents an archetype. Archetypes are universal images. So if I was to say magician or fish, what comes to your mind, right? Each person may see a different image, but each would share certain characteristics. So some examples are of archetypes: the self, the mother, the trickster, the dragon, the shadow, devil, God, wise old man, anima, animus, the innocent, the orphan, the hero, the caregiver, the explorer, to name just a few. So they serve the purpose of organizing, directing, and informing human thought. Some theorists actually believe that the collective unconscious of a particular species is transmitted through our DNA, actually. So this is really fascinating that some theorize it's got a biological basis to it. Another theorist in the 70s stated that archetypes can be neurologically located in the right hemisphere of the brain because it deals with language and associations, which is kind of interesting because the brain forms in the womb. So how did it get there? DNA, and remember, all matter, if we follow quantum theory and stuff, all matter is really just vibrating forms of energy. Therefore, thoughts are energy. Everything is literally just energy patterns. So of course those can be those certain vibrations that cause energy, or are energy, depending on how you look at it, are transferred from mother to child, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of used to explain how the archetypes and things are inherited, right? Jung also saw that these archetypes, he saw them as emerging and requiring recognition during different stages of life. So I'll probably get into those stages and stuff in a future video. So virtually any role that you play, there's an archetype to it. It's like a psychological box, like a schema, as Piaget would put it, of a role that one can slip into. So, you're the driver of a car, you're a teacher, you're a policeman, you're, name a role. There's all these stereotypical kinds of things. There's the head of the household, what mothering is like, what being a strong father figure is like. All of these things, they may have cultural associations and stuff, but at the baseline, at the very bottom, it's almost instinctual, and it's just roles that are built within us that we kind of bring out through these different roles that we play assigned by society, that kind of thing. So archetypal psychology sees past the idea of the ego, which is really your sense of self, right, and focuses on what it terms the psyche or the soul. It states that the ego, the commonly understood sense of self, as I just said, is a constructed set of archetypal aspects. So ask yourself, what are you? Who are you? You know, what kind of roles do you play? What characteristics do you take on? How do you describe yourself? Those are theoretically derived from archetypes, because we're all kind of built with these little templates that we can then express and kind of build upon, right? Making any sense? Drop it in the comments and whatnot. So, yep, I'm going to go back to Piaget for a second. So Piaget's idea of schemas or schemata and Noam Chomsky's idea of a language acquisition device refer to archetypes. So like schemata is the way that you kind of organize things in boxes. Like you know, the first time you see a four-legged animal, you're told that it's a dog, right? Well, the next time you see a four-legged animal, you're gonna be like, oh, is that a dog? And then somebody informs you, no, that's actually a cat, right? So then you kind of have to change the way that you're thinking and organizing things to describe the differences between the dog and the cat. And Noam Chomsky's idea of a language acquisition device is like, he described a function of the brain, a specific function of the brain that is primed to learn language. So, you know, we're all born with the capacity to learn language in one form or another. This making sense? So in a magical sense, we use archetypes when we empower ourselves with certain roles in ritual and when we call upon entities or deities for assistance, because, you know, from the psychological model, we are calling on those archetypes to come forth within us to empower us with certain characteristics, thought patterns, and things like that, to embody a role to change how we think and how we act and who we are, and then carry that through both in the ritual and then after the ritual. From a magical sense, when a little convoluted-ish, but from a magical sense, when you are working with an entity or a deity, they are an external being that resonates with that archetypal quality within you, like attracts like, that kind of thing. So a very, very strong masculine deity would activate the very strong masculine archetype within you to help bring that out. That makes sense? So I'm probably going to end this one here before getting into other information that I do want to put in other schemas or other boxes so I can put them in other videos. But let me know what you think about this, and out of all the other archetypes that you may have heard of, or if you just want to go research it after like watching this video and stuff, what archetypes do you guys want me to talk about? Right? I have a couple of them planned, such as the anima, the animus, and the dragon, which I think would be rather interesting. But let me know about any other archetypes you guys want me to cover. And yeah, so you can put it on my community page. I'll probably put a question up there, or you can put it in the comments here, or you can find me on Facebook with Magickology YT and connect with the Facebook group, and you know, we could start a discussion there too. Or you can email me. Any of that stuff. So yeah, let me know which archetypes you guys want to see. Good hunting. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Movement, which is an update and expansion upon Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Mastery, which is a combination masterwork of Magical Theater and Magical Mechanics, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.